Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm up above Keystone, Colorado this morning. I'm gonna take the Finding Gold in Colorado book by Kevin Singel and go check out site E-01. It's the Upper Snake River site. See if I can do a little prospecting on the creek this morning. This is the book that I used to find this site. It's called Finding Gold in Colorado by Kevin Singel. I picked site number E1, Upper Snake River. I'm parked in the middle parking lot. There's a little inside bend down here, a little picnic area and an inside bend. I just parked by these big rocks off the side of the road. Then I hauled in a little bit of the gear. I just followed this little trail through the picnic area. I'm gonna try and do some test panning and see if I can find a little gold, and then I'm gonna run some pay dirt through the Gold Hog mini stream sluice. There's quite a bit of space upstream and downstream from the site that you can pan in or prospect in. The river's kind of high right now, so this little gravel bar's really one of the only safe places to do it right now. It's the beginning of July. The snow melt's still coming off. Everything's still a little high. This is the little gravel bar down next to the river. Looks like there's actually a little channel that flows through here when it's even higher. So there's a look downstream. You can prospect about a half mile downstream or so. I just put the GPS coordinates in my laptop and took a picture of it with my phone, so I'll do a short video of how I do that. But looks like there's some larger and smaller river cobbles here. This is kind of an inside bend right here, so just gonna do some test pans, see if I can find a spot that has a little gold in it, and then start setting up a sluice. Here's a look at some of the gear I brought. I brought the Arbor Fabricating 1/4-inch classifier, the Gold Hog mini stream sluice, and bucket, the book, some gold pans, and a shovel, of course. Do some test pans and see if we can find a spot to mine. One tiny little speck right there. So I did a little test panning behind this rock. I did a little test pan on this little side stream right here. Set up the little Gold Hog mini stream sluice. Did a little test panning where that big rock was, under that rock. Tested this right here and that right there and that little hole right there, and I wasn't really finding very much gold, so I walked through this little walkway. It looks like somebody maybe dredged a little pit right here, so I took 2 shovels from right there and found couple little, one bigger piece of gold and a couple little flower sized pieces of gold. So I think I'm going to try and work on some of this cobble right here, and then I'm going to also try and work on some of this bigger stuff right here where this bigger stuff fell out of the river. It looks like some of this material's got a lot of clay in it, so when I was trying to dig over there it felt like digging through clay, so I'm hoping that some of the flood gold's sitting on top of that. But I'm going to classify up some buckets, run them through the mini stream sluice, and see what happens. Okay, we spent about 4 hours at the Snake River today. Ran 3 runs through the Gold Hog mini stream sluice. We did a lot of testing. The river, like I said, was really high today, so we couldn't really get out in the middle of the river, but we did a lot of testing. Had the little Gold Hog mini stream sluice set up right here. We ended up finding our best gold on the front edge of this little inside bend right here, and we were actually probably, you can just barely see it right there, about 12 inches down. There's like a red clay layer. It would seem like right above that was the best pay dirt that we were digging. I put all the concentrates in this little Lynch Mining pay dirt bucket. So that's the concentrates that we have left from 3 runs on the Gold Hog mini stream sluice. I'm gonna take that home, pan it out, finish pan it, and I'll show you how much gold we found. This is the 2 pans of concentrates that I ended up with from the 6 buckets of dirt that I ran at the Snake River. We were up there, my wife and I were up there for about 3.5 or 4 hours one day, and I did a bunch of sampling, and then I ended up running about 8 3/4 buckets of material, so about 6 5-gallon buckets total, about 30 gallons of material. I ran it in 2 different sluice runs, so I just dried everything out in gold pans when I got home. So I'm going to separate out the magnetics, and then I'm going to classify it plus or minus 20 mesh, and we'll pan it out and see how much gold's in there. Like there's a little lead sinker in there, so the sluice was set up decent. It was at least catching the heavies. That's pretty much it. See, there's quite a bit of magnetics in the material. Use a paintbrush, make sure I get all the dust in the classifier. The Golden Colorado is really fine, so just want to make sure I get everything through the classifier. Don't see any big pickers in the plus 20, but that doesn't surprise me. When we were testing, we weren't really testing the center of the river. The water was still pretty high, so we were kind of out on the edge. So I'm guessing if we found some gold, it's going to be smaller flood gold. When you're using these little wire classifiers like this, you want to just make sure that you get everything out of the little squares. You don't get a piece of gold stuck in there. So there's the plus 20, minus 20, and we'll take it over, pan it out, and see if we can find some gold. Okay, this is the minus 20 concentrates from the Upper Snake River prospecting trip. Just gonna get some water in the pan, get everything wet. Probably could have classified this to plus and minus 30 also, and it would have made it a little easier. We were only up there for about 4 hours. I spent the better half of the first hour just test panning spots, and then we ran material for about 3 hours. Ended up running about 6 buckets that were 3/4 of the way full. And when you put that arbor fabricating classifier in the bucket, if it sits on top of the bucket, you only really get about 3/4 of a bucket of material under it, and it's actually easier to carry them around that way too. So it was about 4 gallons of material in each bucket. I think we ran about 8 buckets total, so I'm guessing we ran roughly 6 buckets of material through the sluice. I cleaned it out twice, once about every 4 buckets of material I cleaned the sluice out. Looks like a lot of really fine gold up here in the top. Can clean out the snuffer bottle, get rid of the last little bit of black sands. There's a look at the gold in the pan. There's a decent sized little piece right there, and then you can see a bunch of really small flower gold up in the top of the pan right there. So
don't think it's gonna weigh anything on the scale, but for playing around in the river for a couple hours, it's not bad.